At dawn in southern Italy, the golden meadows shimmered like a thin curtain of light, and that was when our helicopter tore through the morning mist, launching a relentless mission. The roar of the engine echoed inside the cramped cockpit like a pounding heartbeat, yet everyone remained silent. The sound of loading weapons clicked sharply, a signal that today was a day where failure was not an option. On the very first scouting loop, the herd revealed itself, dark silhouettes creeping along the forest edge. The moment they heard the helicopter screaming above, they scattered in panic. I held the stick steady, dipping the aircraft to the perfect altitude, while John raised his rifle, eyes locked on the target. In the blink of an eye, a burst of shots rang out, each bullet flying as if guided by fate. The final round struck the lead boar, ending the first encounter of the morning. No misses, a perfect opening shot, a sign of the challenges to come. The battle to protect the harvest had only grown more difficult. But our team of hunters carried a vow of steel. These destroyers would not roam here unchecked. By midday, the sun blazed overhead, its glare shimmering through the treetops. Then came the second herd, larger, wilder, more chaotic. I maneuvered the helicopter, tailing their swirling escape, carving out the perfect vantage point for John, who by then had transformed into a marksman in his element. The bullets danced through the air, striking each target with preordained precision. We moved in sync like a special ops unit, completing the mission without a single word exchanged. Everything we did was for one purpose: to protect the villagers' harvest, to keep their lives safe from the chaos of the wild. As sunset laid a golden carpet across the meadows, two stray boars came into sight from above, an opportunity too good to miss. John steadied his breath, as if time itself had stopped. 2 bullets, 2 targets, 2 flawless kills. We exchanged a nod. Words were unnecessary. Our connection was so sharp that a single glance spoke volumes. How did you feel about that perfect coordination? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The evening sun cast long shadows over the fields, making shots from the air increasingly unstable. Without hesitation, we decided, land the chopper, hunt on foot, boots pressed against the scorched grass trails as we pushed forward. Suddenly, a low growl rumbled from the thickets. Instinct kicked in. I raised my rifle, steadied, and fired. 1 clean shot, 1 clean kill. Moments later, the hunting dogs rushed in, finishing the job in absolute silence. The grasslands once again returned to peace. On a bed of golden grass, a lone boar stretched out, completely unaware. We crept closer with utmost caution, not letting a sound disturb the fragile stillness. When within range, I raised my rifle. Every move was swift, sharp, and efficient. My finger pulled the trigger, the bullet struck dead on. The beast collapsed without a single gasp. What did you think of that shot? Comment below, and let's break it down together. We decided to extend the hunt until dusk, for the villagers still could not rest easy. The destroyers of rice fields were still out there, and every minute of delay meant another plot of farmland lost. From a cluster of trees, a strange rustle erupted. A massive boar burst forth, snarling fiercely. I had no time to react, but John did. A few quick controlled shots, and it was over. Each round he fired was measured to the millimeter, proof of a seasoned hunter's mastery. In seconds, the threat was gone, as if it had never existed. That was the calm precision of a true marksman, whose every move felt like destiny itself. This hunt concluded with a series of breathtaking encounters where every member of our team showed both skill and perfect coordination. Each bullet fired was not just an act of marksmanship, but the result of meticulous preparation, razor-sharp focus, and an unshakable sense of duty. Stay tuned for the next episode, a grueling journey across vast, snow-covered hills. In the bitter cold, will we still hold the advantage, or will the wild boars reclaim the upper hand? The answer awaits in the next hunt. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can continue to join us on these tough but unforgettable adventures.
The short days in Greece have given me countless unforgettable experiences. One of them is the wild boar hunting trip in the Erymanthus Mountains in the freezing winter. Here, natural predators are becoming increasingly rare, causing the wild boar population to grow uncontrollably. I, along with a few friends, set out on this hunting trip. From this experience, I understood why the Greeks still keep the tradition of wild boar hunting as an integral part of their life. After a simple breakfast, we sat in a familiar vehicle and headed towards the Erymanthus Mountains in western Peloponnese. It was the wild boar mating season, so they were moving around more, providing favorable conditions for hunting. Thanks to the snow, we could easily track the boars' whereabouts. I closely followed their tracks, moving quickly as a feeling told me the prey was very near. And sure enough, a dark shape came rushing down from the opposite mountain slope. I fired in time, one clean shot. The boar fell and slid down the slope. However, I moved closer and fired another shot because, in the forest, certainty is always the most reliable companion. Not far from me, Gilbert was also in position, continuously firing when a whole herd of wild boars appeared unexpectedly. However, the boars weren't easy to handle. They ran like the wind, weaving through thick tree trunks in a maze-like manner. Even though Gilbert tried to stay close, it was really difficult to aim under these conditions, and in the blink of an eye, the entire herd vanished from sight as quickly as they had appeared. After about half an hour of moving, we had reached near the summit of the mountain. While still on the move, Gilbert and I noticed unusual movements from the trees beside us. Hunting instinct urged me to immediately raise my rifle and squeeze the trigger before the wild boar disappeared into the brush. And with just one shot, the target was neatly taken down. A quick, efficient shot, just the way I like it. Upon reaching the mountaintop, the air became even colder, and the snow beneath our feet grew thicker, but the sound of barking dogs echoed like a reminder that we couldn't stop. In the blink of an eye, a dark figure suddenly appeared. Gilbert steadied his rifle and fired a decisive shot. With the close distance, this time the boar couldn't escape. race with the wild boars became more intense than ever before. Seizing every moment and every opportunity, we continued our hunt that afternoon. The hounds remained by our side, helping the team locate new targets. The snowstorm thickened, and we had to move down for safety. We set up a temporary small tent, and I sat waiting for my teammates to return. While sitting alone in the silence, the sound of the hounds and gunshots from afar woke me up to immediately raise my rifle. I aimed and fired decisively. The boar collapsed in the midst of the heavy snowfall. I had completed an unexpected hunt. The rain stopped, and under the gloomy sky, I still pressed on, looking for the last targets of the day. Hiding behind some wild branches, I silently observed the wild boar's movements. Waiting for it to reach the right position, I gently raised my rifle and took a decisive shot to end the chase. After the shot rang out, the wild boar fell, marking the end of this challenging hunting trip. The challenges we faced throughout the journey were not only about hunting.
Texas is home to the largest population of feral hogs in the United States, estimated at nearly 3 million, causing nearly $100 million in damage to the agricultural sector each year. In response, Texas has resorted to everything from trapping and gun hunting to more daring methods, chasing wild hogs by helicopter. This measure is not only an effort to control the herd, but has also become popular as an adventure tourism service for shooters who love challenges. Of course, not everyone can participate. Pilots need a valid Federal Aviation Administration pilot license, and shooters like me need a specialized license, such as an aerial wildlife management permit. With all the necessary paperwork and careful preparation, we began our trip. The weather today is quite nice, clear, little wind and light sunshine, perfect for a helicopter hunt. From above, I could see dense tracts of wild boars running across the sand. Then a herd of about 10 pigs came into view. I signaled the pilot to lower altitude, raised my gun, and pulled the trigger repeatedly. One by one, the pigs were hit, falling down one by one on the road. It couldn't have been a better start. Still excited, the pilot suddenly pointed to the northeast. Another flock appeared. Then the gun was loaded again. The helicopter glided low. I calmly aimed, starting with the last ones in line. Each shot was decisive. A new batch of prey was taken down. Wild boars, the silent but deadly destroyers of farmlands. When night falls, they sneak into gardens and fields, trampling crops, tearing through barns, and leaving farmers in despair. And when the destruction crosses the line of tolerance, a new mission is triggered. Hunt them down to protect the farms. This is no longer just a hunt, it's a battle between man and the wild. Will the beasts surrender this time? Or will they once again become the nightmare that haunts local farmers? Join us in today's relentless pursuit. At first light, we begin our slow advance into the deep forest, a known trail often used by the notorious boar herd. Our weapons are locked and loaded, GPS in hand. Hunting dogs alert. Every step is measured. Every sound is a potential threat in the heavy silence. Suddenly, a dark silhouette emerges from a thicket. It seems unaware of the danger lurking behind. I pivot instinctively, raise my rifle, steady my grip, and pull the trigger. A sharp crack pierces the forest. The shot lands. The boar stumbles a few steps and collapses under the damp canopy. Tension falls over the woods like a curtain. We move deeper into the jungle, where sunlight barely filters through the leaves. Out of nowhere, a massive beast explodes from the brush, its hulking body slicing through the trees like a bolt of fury. No hesitation. I aim fast through the canopy and fire. The shot lands. The beast crashes to the ground, sliding across fallen leaves before coming to a halt. Just when we thought the fight was over, barely 10 minutes later, two muscular boars burst from the brush, charging straight toward me. I stay calm, raise my rifle, steady my breathing. One shot, then another. Both bullets find their mark. The wild pigs collapse into the forest floor, powerless to resist. Suddenly, I receive a call from the team. Fresh boar activity has been spotted out in the open field ahead. No time to waste. I break away from the canopy, sprint toward the clearing. Everything's ready. The chase is back on. From a distance, a dark figure sprints right into my line of sight. A fully grown wild boar, massive and aggressive. Without a second thought, I lift the rifle, hold my stance, and fire. The sharp crack of the shot echoes across the empty field. The boar jerks and drops, lifeless on the damp earth. The gunshot sends a shockwave through the field. From the distant thickets, an entire herd bursts out, running in every direction, panicked and desperate to escape. I adjust quickly, locked onto a fast runner ahead. Fire. Another clean shot. The target falls. The rest scatter wildly across the plains. I immediately give chase in the direction the herd fled. Just 2 minutes later, a massive boar cuts across my flank, charging blindly for an escape. I spin, raise the rifle, and fire. The boar crashes into green grass, thrashing briefly before going still. At that very moment, on the opposite side of the field, my teammate is already in position. He spots a gigantic boar barreling through the tall grass. He locks in and fires. The bullet hits clean. The beast stumbles, then collapses on the spot. One precise shot, a clean finish. This hunting mission ends with moments of heart-pounding tension and thrilling confrontations. From tangled forest trails to wide-open fields, every shot fired was more than just skill, it was a responsibility, a duty to protect the land from destructive invaders. All operations in this hunt followed strict legal regulations for managing invasive species and ensuring safety for both people and the environment. Wild boars, creatures that may seem harmless at first glance, have become a terrifying nightmare for countless rural farmers. They destroy rice fields, rip through orchards, and even attack livestock, causing more and more serious damage with each passing day. In response, hunting missions are being organized not out of thrill, but as a responsible action to help control boar populations and protect peaceful livelihoods. And today, we set out once again on one of those critical missions. What dangers await us in the wild this time? Join us on this intense, edge-of-your-seat hunt right now. This time, we chose a vast hillside in the U.S. to track down wild boars at the break of dawn. The terrain is rough, densely wooded, and every shadow could be hiding a beast. All gear had been thoroughly checked, guns loaded, hounds sniffing, and eyes sharp. Just past a small slope, a rustle broke the morning stillness from down the hill. We froze. A massive boar emerged slowly from the brush. Its size alone could make your heart skip a beat. Wasting no time, I raised my rifle and held my breath steady. Bang! The shot shattered the silence. The boar let out a thunderous growl and collapsed. A perfect opening to what promised to be an epic hunt. That first gunshot echoed through the woods like a warning. Suddenly, from the opposite forest line, a herd of panicked boars burst out, crashing through trees, scrambling uphill to flee. I spun around, locked onto one of them, and fired. Direct hit. It staggered midway up the slope before collapsing. The rest kept running, leaving behind broken branches and chaos. No hesitation, I followed the trail left by the herd. There they were. I lifted my rifle, steadied my breath, and aimed with care. One precise shot, one more target down. The boar struggled for a moment, then lay still. Another trophy claimed, but the hunt wasn't over yet. Meanwhile, at the forest's edge, my teammate was combing through dense undergrowth. Out of nowhere, a giant black shape exploded from the bushes, charging forward at an insane speed. Instinct kicked in. Jack raised his rifle and fired. Boom! The beast was hit, tumbling over and rolling several times before crashing down. The hill hunt had come to a breathless, adrenaline-filled close. With the hillside sweep completed, we shifted toward the open plains. The ATV rumbled across the cracked, dry earth. The hounds were unleashed, barking wildly. The chase was on again. Our weapons, trackers, binoculars, everything double-checked. After driving a few hundred meters, a massive boar suddenly appeared, charging straight toward me. I didn't flinch. I raised my rifle, braced myself, and aimed. Boom! The sound echoed across the silent plain. The creature was hit, staggered a few steps, then dropped. Dust exploded into the air. We pressed deeper into the field, carefully stepping through low shrubs. Suddenly, a bush shook violently ahead. I dropped low and tightened my grip on the trigger. A boar burst out, sprinting for its life. Right at that moment, I fired. The shot landed square on its flank. It was over. Not far off, from the opposite side of the field, I spotted my teammate taking aim. His eyes locked on another monstrous boar. He didn't hesitate. The shot rang out with power. The beast howled and dropped, thrashing for just a few seconds before going still.
Seguiremos con finca cada gestión, que es el único camino que hay. Y algo.
This hunting expedition was more than just a face-off with danger. It was a showcase of teamwork, courage, and razor-sharp skills. Every move was carried out in strict accordance with local wildlife laws and regulations.